Hello everyone, welcome to my new video. In this video we will learning about how to build the function screen, as we earlier made the design, so we just need to make it functional. We will be using Firebase for authentication, for Google and email authentication, and for Facebook we will be doing later because there's much stuff to do with the Facebook, so we will be doing it later. Now let's run the project. Here is our login screen. Here is our registration screen, similar to the login screen, and this is our main data. So for the state management we will be using GetX. Yeah, this is our project and this is the login screen. Okay, so this is the sign up screen. Okay, now first of all we need to make a Firebase app for this. Okay, so we will just go to console.firebase.google.com. okay, and we will add a new project. Let's say movie app, yeah, or movie ticket app. Yeah, and we will continue, and we will, if you want you can enable it. I don't want this because it is tutorial video, so I don't want any analytics to be calculated. And this will take some time to create a video. Okay, now we are in. So like I am using Windows and Android as a base while we adding this Android. Okay, for this you have to go to Android and this build.career, and here you will get application ID. So copy this application ID and paste it here. Let's say movie ticket app. And for SHA1 fingerprint, to get the fingerprint you just need to open the command prompt and run this command: key tool list key store, and the path to the key store file. Mine is this. You can customize and hit enter. Okay, it says file does not exist. It's users. Okay, now here is our fingerprint, SHA1. okay, now you just go to here and paste it. Register that. Okay, now download the config file, and this file will go to here, drag and just drop inside Android and then app. Okay, here, and we will just rename it to mobile services.json. Now the app gets connected to the Firebase. Let's finish this, and we will just follow the step. We'll go to the project level and last path, and all the Google is given already. Now the app level we will just put here. Okay, and the POM file. Also make sure that multi-text is enabled. Now we are done with configuration and watch console. Now this app is registered with this, and second thing, we need to enable the authentication. So for authentication Let's go to that authentication tab and we'll provide the providers and save. We also be using Google, so Google and email address. Okay, now it's done. Get back to this. Now we'll be using GetX and Firebase dependencies, so just add it. I am using plugin to add. It's Firebase core, Firebase auth, get, and what will be needing, yeah, that's good. Now everything gets added, so we'll just save it to update the pub file. Now for GetX we need to make several changes in the main dart and for Flutter also, so let's get started. For Flutter we need to provide widget Flutter binding dot initialized. Also we will provide Firebase app to initialize, Firebase. Okay, let me async this dot initialize app. Yeah, no, it's good. It says missing plugin exception. This is because we need to reinstall the app to load all the plugins, so just shut down the app and reinstall. Yeah, the app is reinstalled and it's good, it's not crashing at all. Now for the GetX we need to make a folder called controller. We'll put all the controllers here, and for the authentication we'll be making an auth controller. Okay. Now to make an auth controller, we'll be creating a class which will extend the GetX controller. Let's say auth controller extends GetX controller, and yeah, it will import get. Now the next thing is to initialize the controller when the app starts, because we'll be needing authentication when the app starts. So get dot put and auth controller. Okay, and for the material app we will say get material app. Okay, now for the splash screen we will remove all this stuff, like comment it, and for login and sign up we will remove that navigator and just put get dot to, and we will provide the sign up screen. Similarly for the sign up screen we will remove that navigator context, and we will just get dot back, so it will just go back to the previous screen. from to the login, which is okay. Let's say it's working fine. Now make a auth controller. So auth controller will make an instance. As we already defined the auth controller here, so just we need to find it. Okay, so get provide a find method to find the auth controller. Now it's good. Now we'll be creating some variables such as Firebase user, so it will be user. Okay, now this will be observable, so it will be rx, and we'll import it as Firebase auth, and we'll make it later because we will be defining it later. Okay, now we need to make a Firebase auth variable. Firebase auth dot instance. Okay, now we'll be overriding some predefined methods. Let's say onReady. So when the auth controller get initialized, it will do the stuffs in this onReady method. So we will just have user, and we will use as auth dot current user. So that auth is a type of user, and we cannot initialize it to a observable user, so we'll typecast it. Okay, that's good, and we'll bind it to a string, so every time it changes it will listen to it. On auth state chain. Okay. Now whenever the auth state changes, it will just reflect to the user. Okay, now here I will define new method which is called ever. Okay, so ever is method which takes a listener and a callback. It will get executed when there is a sudden change in the listener, like we have a user. Okay, and then we will have a callback. We will perform something when the user changes. Okay, so let's say a login redirect. Okay, so now login redirect, just make a method which will take a user now. In this we will redirect the user to login our home page based on the login status. So let's create a dummy page for home screen. And we will say import material dot dart and stateful widget. We will say home screen. Okay, we'll make a scaffold, then body center child and elevated button on pressed. Just a simple thing, and child will be center, will text child of text, and a logout. Now the term is created. So if let's say we are using on a splash screen, so it will have some delay. Let's say timer, and duration will be on as we commented on this. So we'll be using the same code, millisecond, sorry, seconds, let's say second will be 2. Now the callback will check if the user is empty or not. So if user equal to null, then else, then get dot of all. It will just push to the page passed in and remove all the pages in the stack. So login screen, like if the user is null, then move to the login screen, else move to the home screen. Okay, now it's good. Now let's make several functions for registration and login. So make it void register user, let's say email comma password, let's make it async now because we will be needing a wait for it. Let's say try and catch await auth dot create user using email and password, and that's done. Okay. And in catch we will just define error. Okay, we will be using GetX snack bar to define. So just make a common function because we will be using that function many times. Snack bar. Okay, let's say string message and the error. So get dot snack bar, let's say error, and the message will be let's say the message coming from there and custom one. Message from okay. Now snack bar position will be snack bar position dot bottom. Background color will be my theme dot red border, because for error color text will be colors dot white. Colors dot white, and border radius, let's say 5 or 10, let's say 10. Let's say margin constant, agent set on get snack bar. Okay, and here we will provide some message. Let's say account creation failed, and you can just typecast it to Firebase auth exception, I guess, and here will be I guess. Yeah, now good. Okay, So this is the registration. Okay, let's go to the sign up page, and let's make some variables for name controller, text editing controller, null email, password controller, text editing controller, and CMS pass controller, text editing controller. Now let's get to initialization. Controller, name controller, controller, email controller, and password controller, the password controller, final one, controller, CNS controller. Now it says login. Let's make it to sign up. Yeah, it's good. And for this, here's the function. We will say let's say async. Okay, await auth ins controller dot ins instance dot register user, and here we will provide, it's not await, I guess. Here we provide email and password. Then let's say email controller dot text dot print to remove the white spaces, and password controller dot text dot print. We'll making validation for password and confirm password. Okay, let's now yeah, it's good now. Let's see, account creation field, that snack bar is good. Now let's make it validation. Okay, the input validators, class input validator, bool validate static bool validate field, so string with title, string value. Okay, if value dot string dot is not empty, it's not empty, then we will return true because it's good. In case if it's empty, then we will just show the snack bar as we mentioned here. The auth controller, we'll just copy it and put it here, import the get, and message will be a title, and title is empty. Let's say name is empty, title is empty. Let's say my color, or say colors, my theme dot warning color. And we will return false, because if it's not empty, then it will be it's validated, and if it's empty, we will show the snack bar and return false. Okay, now go to the sign up screen and go to the already have an account, sign up here. So if let's say input validators, let's see, input validator dot validate fields, let's say name controller text. Okay, and we will put like this. Okay, now we have to do with all the email controller, also with password. Let's say just remove this and we will make another function saying validate password. See, it's saying value 1 and value 2. Okay. If value 1 dot print dot equal to value 2 dot trim, then it will be true, otherwise it will be false. And saying that confirm password do not match. Okay, now and here we will see if input validator dot validate password, say password controller text, say cnf controller dot text. Okay, now it's good. Let's run it. Sorry, let's say name is empty. If we provide name, then it says email is empty. If we provide email, now the password, if the password is this and this, let's say account creation field, email address badly formatted, like the Firebase, this method, I guess this exception handles all the badly formatted and the password length, so we don't have to care about. Now we will go to authentication and see there is no user, sign method is enabled, so we will just try to add the user. So let's say it's test and test@gmail.com, and password will be 123456 123456. Okay, let's say sign up. Okay, we haven't, yeah, now it's signed up, and this is the button. When we click it, let's see the debug process. Yeah, now it has been navigated to home screen, and the GetX is removing the root of sign up and the login screen. As you can see in the auth controller here, this one. Okay, when they redirect, it's listen for it, and yeah, let's okay, now we have to log out. Just press on this and we will just log out from here. Yeah, we haven't made the sign out, so sign out. Async await auth dot sign out. It's done now, and we will go to home screen, and we will say controller.instance of sign out. Yeah, it's not, now it has been signed out. So first of all, we need to change this method because it will be taking 2 seconds. It's not for splash screen but for the login event also. So we will be we'll be introducing a new variable, say is login. So it will check if we are login, if we are not logged in, or we are just moving from a splash screen directly to the home page, or home page to the login screen. So let's say if we are registering, right, so is logging will be true, because this will just check that if it's login, then it will take some time or not. If it's it's true, then it will be 0 second, because when we will just hit login or sign up, it will go to the home page, so there will be no delay. Okay, so it will be true. Also when we are on the login screen, right, then we are obviously logged out, so we will say is login equal to false, and we will update it. This update method will update the variable for whole. Okay, let's just make login also. Okay, now for login we will be needing 2 controllers. Let's say final email controller or user controller. Controller is equal to text editing controller. Similarly, password controller. And we will initialize to the form fields. Yeah, it says controller is equal to email controller, and controller is equal to password controller. Now for this thing we will be using that login function that we have to create. So login will be same as this. Okay, so we'll just copy and paste it and say login, and here will be sign in with email and password, and yeah, it's good. And we will say auth controller dot instance dot login and email controller dot text dot trim dot text password controller dot text dot trim column. Okay, so we'll just restart the app and we already have some users. Okay, we have this user. Okay, so let's test at gmail.com and the password will be 123456. Okay, and it haven't delayed, and just go to this screen. Let's check from splash screen. Okay, now it's showing the splash screen, then it will go to the home screen, and let's say hit logout. And yeah, now logout is taking some time, so we need to put this thing also here. Sorry, it will be true. So test at the rate gmail.com and 123456. Let's say login. Oh, the password is invalid, and there is some controller and account creation, login failed. It's logged in. Restart. There will be 2-second delay for the animation, and here we go. Yeah, now it's working fine. So now we are good with the login and with the sign up, right? And then we have to go with Google sign in. For the Google sign in, we need a we need to go to the pub.dev, and here we will search Google sign in. Yeah, this is the package. So we need to import, we need to do all the stuff from here. So we're just copy it, paste it and save. Okay, now let's say void Google login. Now for Google login we will use Google sign in variable as Google sign in and we will use sign in Google account, Google sign in account, okay, and we'll say async thinned if Google user Google sign in account not equal to null, then we will doing some stuff. Let's say we will get authentication, so Google sign in authentication, Google auth Google sign in account dot authentication. Okay, and we will create a credential. So say final credentials, sorry, credentials Google auth provider dot credential, and credential will take two parameters: access token, which is Google auth dot access token, and ID token. Okay, now we will sign in with credentials. So as we say, we have auth variable as Firebase auth, and we will sign in with credentials, say credentials. Okay, let's say await, and yeah, so it will throw some exception as some login exception, some other exception also, that when we click on this, a pop-up will come to select the user, and to like show every time when the user click on Google, we have to do some stuff. Okay, let's first of all catch the exception for the Google login. Okay, let's say try, and let's catch on Firebase auth exception, catch, let's say E, and get error snack bar, Google login failed. Yeah, now it's good. Yeah, auth instance dot Google login. Yeah, some error. To remove this, yeah, missing plugin exception. We have to rerun the whole app. Okay, let's rerun it. Yeah, now it's running. Click on this, and the pop-up will come to choose the account. Suppose we click on this. Okay, it will sign in, and it will notify about listener, and it will go to login. Okay, now let's see if the account is created or not. Yeah, now it's created and provider is Google. So when we log out and when we try to log in again, it will just use that same account which was already logged in. So we don't want that. To remove that thing, okay, so to remove that thing, we have to disconnect this Google sign. Okay, so it will throw some exception also, because if we do not have any login, then we want to disconnect it, then it will say there is no login, what you want to disconnect, and it will crash. Okay, so we'll put try and Google sign in dot disconnect. Okay, let's say, yeah, now it's coming. Yeah, let's log out again. Yeah, it's working fine. And yeah, it's fine now. So the Google authentication is already also completed. For the Facebook authentication, we will doing it later, because it will need some time. It will be done in a separate video. So I hope you guys like the video. If you want something to ask, please comment it down. Also, if you have any problem with like plugins and all that stuff, so you can ask in the comment. For the forward password, I think you guys can try. If you want, I will do it